You've watched The Office 17 times. Friends, 23. You've seen your comfort movie so many times you can quote it 3 sentences before the actor even speaks. Predict the background music changes, feel the emotional beats coming 2 scenes early. Your Netflix has stopped suggesting new shows. It just recommends the same one back to you. Your family stopped asking, "Have you seen that new thing?" 6 months ago, and yet here you are about to press play for the 18th time. So what's actually happening in your brain that makes you choose the familiar over the new? And no, you're not stuck. You're onto something. Let's start with the obvious question. Why would anyone rewatch something when you already know every plot twist, every line, every moment? There are 4,000 new shows on Netflix alone. But your brain keeps returning to the same few. And here's what nobody's telling you. Your brain isn't bored, it's resting. When you watch something new, you're working, tracking characters, processing plot, investing emotionally in outcomes you can't predict. But when you rewatch, your brain goes into predictive rest. It already knows what happens. So instead of analyzing, it just exists. That's not laziness, that's efficiency. Think about it for a second. Maybe it's a show you discovered in college. Maybe it's a movie you watched with someone who's no longer here. When you press play, you're not hunting for surprises. You're stepping into a world where the rules don't change, where you know exactly how it ends. In a life that's loud and unpredictable, this is a space where nothing can go wrong. Psychologists call this the mere exposure effect. The more familiar something is, the safer it feels, and your brain craves that safety. But here's something wild. You're not actually experiencing the same thing twice. I know. It's literally the same episodes. But you've changed. When you watched it at 15, you identified with one character. At 25, someone completely different. Now, you're noticing things you missed the first 10 times. Same story, different meaning. You're not stuck in the past. You're revisiting a version of yourself you can't access any other way. That's not avoidance. That's reflection. But there's another layer nobody talks about. These shows become time capsules. Maybe you watch this with someone. Maybe it reminds you of a version of your life that felt simpler. Maybe rewatching is the only way to visit a moment before everything got complicated. You're not just watching the story, you're holding on to something. Sometimes it's nostalgia, sometimes it's grief, sometimes it's just the need to feel like the person you were when things made sense. That's not weakness. That's honoring what shaped you. Pause here. There's also something simpler happening. You're too tired to gamble. You've made 1,000 decisions today. Choosing a new show? That's another decision. What if you invest 3 episodes and hate it? What if the ending ruins everything? Or you could just watch the thing you already know for the 19th time and feel exactly how you need to feel. 0 risk. Maximum comfort. That's not being stuck. That's being smart. And finally, the part that might make you feel seen. For a lot of people, rewatching is emotional regulation. When the world feels like chaos, you need something consistent. Research on comfort-seeking behavior shows that familiar content lowers stress and provides a sense of control when everything else feels unpredictable. You're not avoiding new experiences, you're actively choosing peace. And that's not something you need to defend. So the next time someone judges you for rewatching, you can tell them you're engaging in a psychologically beneficial practice that reduces cognitive load, provides emotional stability, and strengthens identity continuity. Or just let them wonder. That works too. Look, new shows are great, but there's nothing wrong with returning to the ones that shaped you. The ones that made you cry even though you knew it was coming. The ones that remind you of who you were before life got loud. Your comfort show isn't a crutch. It's a companion. A little piece of consistency in a world that never stops changing. Now, if you'll excuse me, there's a show waiting that I've watched 19 times. And I'm pressing play again. What's the one show or movie you rewatch again and again? Your ultimate time capsule. Say it in the comments. If this felt familiar, subscribe. The next video explains the psychology most people overlook.